Welcome, Ram. Welcome to your mock interview in Microsoft.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thanks for your time and for helping me with this mock interview.
Absolutely. Ram, you know the rules. The rules are very simple because this is our second interview. Don't think of it like an interview. Think of it like a coffee table discussion. That's how we work in Microsoft. It's not that you are the one with all the answers. We're brainstorming answers. So if you feel that you're stuck, let me know. We'll try to work together. Don't judge yourself. Never think whether your interview is going good, bad, ugly. Don't think about that because that'll just create churn in your mind. So don't think about that. And it doesn't matter whether we come to a solution or not. What matters is the structure that we're following. Make sense?
Sure.
Okay. So I have a problem for you.
Okay.
Ram, the problem is today, right? In today's India and maybe other parts of the world, we give too much importance, really too much importance on Ivy League schools, tier one schools. And there is some real talent in tier two and tier three schools. That talent needs some help, the talent needs some guidance. Given that, the talent will shine and help us recruit some of the best talents in the world right here in India that can go places. I want to brainstorm with you how to build a product along with services so that we can bring that talent out from the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities and institutes to get to some of their dream jobs. That's it.
Okay. I'll just make a note of the question. Okay, so if I've understood the problem correctly, there are a lot of talent that are actually studying in tier 2 and tier 3 colleges who are not exposed to certain great opportunities that are being grabbed by only the Ivy schools or the tier 1 schools.
Yep.
So how are we going to bring those talent out of those tier 2, tier 3 colleges and expose them to this opportunities that are elsewhere?
Yes.
Okay. Just a couple of minutes to jot down my questions. So, couple of questions that I have. Are we targeting any particular stream? Only engineering or only management or science or arts or something like that?
Why don't you pick yours and also tell me why did you pick one?
Okay, fine. So, I would like to pick engineering. for certain reasons. One, the number of colleges that are being opened, or the density of colleges are pretty high, engineering college pretty high in tier 2 and tier 3 areas. The kind of students who are studying there, right? So these are the students who are entering, they can be the first graduates of their family or the first engineers of their family who are getting into tier 2 and tier 3, for example, and they are the ones who lead a lot of support. Second thing, the number of students who are getting in engineering is pretty high in India. India means engineers, right? So if we target engineering, I think we will be targeting a good set of folks. And on the other side, opportunities are very high for engineering talent here in India. So I think there is a demand and also a supply, and which can be properly brought together. So that is the reason. And in that 4 years of course of study, the opportunity can come, the kind of problem that they have is different in different years of study, basically, right? And so year 1 will have their finally pre-final will have a different kind of challenges. So I'm trying to choose the year 3 and year pre-final and final year students to address what problems that they have, and then provide a platform that will solve their problem. So that is the other thing that I've chosen. So how I'm going to approach the problem is, we've already segmented the market pretty much. To summarize, now we are targeting engineering students from tier 2, tier 3 colleges, and who are doing their pre-final and final year. So this is a segment that we have targeted. And once we build this product, the ultimate goal of this product would be to first to gain maximum revenue, and understand through user acquisition and so on, understand how many people have actually landed in their dream job. So that is the ultimate goal of though the revenue is one, but the main motive of this product is to understand whether how many students landed in a job. So that is the three goals that I thought I should focus on.
Sure.
I'll take a couple of minutes to jot down the problem statements.
Sure.
So I'm going to approach the problem is I'm going to list down few problems, then we'll talk about a few solutions to those problems, and how we're going to build that solution, how we're going to prioritize the solution, and then we'll talk about a few metrics that we have to track to ensure that we are achieving the goal. Okay. Now, currently, if we have to take the user journey, right, what they do and what are the challenges they have right now. So typically in year 3, pre-final year and final year are the crucial time in their engineering degree. because that is where they take a decision on how they want to position their career. That they want to target a core company like electronics company or mechanical company, or they want to do higher studies, or they want to go for a IT related job. They can even choose to go for UPSC exams, right? So this is the time where they have to take critical decisions of their career, right? But there are certain challenges that the tier 2 and tier 3 students face. So number one is lack of quality professors in their engineering colleges, because so these engineering colleges in tier 2 and tier 3 are not completely focused on, not all of them, but quite a bunch of them, right? So they recruit teachers who are not so talented, who are not up to date with the technologies in the market, who are not up to date with the trends in the market. For a student who is there in the college, that immediate guidance are given by the professors. If they themselves are not up to date in the market, they are able to guide the students. So that is one thing that is missing. Um, Second thing is the awareness. A lot of students doesn't know what are the various paths they can travel. Right? Only if they know there are different possibilities, they can prepare themselves. So there is an awareness problem there. Third is they don't do a self introspection. What is my strength? So if I am good in, say, explaining concepts in a layman terms, right? Should I do my PG and become a good professor? Or if I'm good in research, should I do my PhD and then become research? I'm a good problem solver. I'm a good analytical thinker. Then probably should I get into an analytical oriented job, be a data scientist or something like that. So first they don't have an awareness problem, which is outside what's happening. They don't know what's inside them as well. What are the gaps that they have? What are the strengths that they have? And someone has to guide them to understand someone has to do their SWOT basically. So and bridge that SWOT and the opportunities together, so that things are coming up clearly. Number four is the interaction with the alumni and the role models. There could have been alumnus of those colleges who are doing great, maybe in certain fields, but the college is not taking the effort to bring them to the campus and guide them. So the alumni network is not there. Or if the alumni network is not there, how can we bring those stars in the different fields and come and bring them to the campus and then motivate them? So when I mean alumni, it's not just alumni. They need mentors basically. The industry experts to come to their campus and guide them. It can be alumni will be easier way to approach. If it is not, someone has to bring that people together to the campus. So that is one. Fifth one is peer group influence. This is something that is very critical between tier 1 and tier 2 colleges. So when the cohorts are very competitive, right, the kind of discussion that you have in a classroom, I can take my own example. Fortunately, I did my engineering in a top 10 school and a MBA from top 10 school. What motivated me more is the kind of group that I have with me. Right, it's kind of knowledge that I shared, right? So this peer group influences a lot in deciding one's career, and especially in year 3 and year 4. And so it's not just about influencing one particular person, it's about influencing the entire group, so that it becomes a that's a Pygmalion effect. It becomes Pygmalion effect that keeps happening on and on and on. So if I'm able to influence, say, year 4, then they will take care of influencing year 3. Then they will take care of influencing year 2, right? And this chain happens automatically. So all I have to do is influence a bunch of folks. You have to create influencers. And it's not going to be one. I have to create bunch of influencers each and every campus or each and every tier 2 thing. And how I'm going to do that? And that can be done by bringing that alumni mentors together. If I can make a few people successful in that particular college, that's good. They can influence others. So the first success will be pretty critically. The problem here is they have not tasted the first success with those alumni people. The sixth problem would be family situation. People who are studying in tier 2 and tier 3, They could be from lower middle class or below poverty line people whose parents are just want their kids to have to complete their engineering degree. So they take a lot of burden, right? So they won't be able to spend a lot of money to get to reach those resources. So family income, family situation, or the income level of the family is also a pretty a big problem for people, which is stopping them in reaching their dreams. So these are the different problems that I have noted down so far.
I'm completely aligned with your problems. Rather, I should say that your problems are very broad, they are very deep. I don't have anything else to add to your problems. I would love to see how do you think about solving these problems. I'm in complete agreement with your problems.
Sure. Thanks, Abdul. So number one is I'm going to address two problems using one particular solution. One is the updating the keeping the professors up to date with the trends, and second is bringing those role models, the career guidance, the industry experts to the campus, so that they can influence the guide the students. Here, I want to build a platform where I target both this audience on the campus, professors and also students, with same set of people. But the way we approach them is going to be different. So if I am if I go to a tier 2 college, right, the way I have to bridge the gap of a professor will be completely different than the way I have to bridge the gap for a student. So I have to build a solution that's going to be a platform model where I'm going to bring the experts on one side of the platform, and I'm going to onboard the colleges in the other side of the platform. And the unique selling proposition here is the job placements, which will in turn give them a good advertisements and bring more students their college. Right. So how I'm going to do that is to bring that platform. So this platform it will bring the mentors from the one side of the campus. So for example, Sandeep from IMA, he can be a mentor in the particular group. He will list down his key areas where he can guide people. Right? It can be on, say, mathematics, can be on computer science and architecture. So we will try to bring those many experts onto the platform, and these experts will devise a certain curriculum on bridging the knowledge and bringing the professors to the industry trends, and that happens quite often. Right now, the colleges are doing through an industry collaboration. Tier 2 campuses are targeting having partnership with X, Y, and Z and company, asking them to come to the campus and take the sessions for them, but it's not working out. For certain reasons, because the campus look at the students community for placements. They train them to take them for their company. The motive is to not to help them broaden their vision and then make them aware what's happening and then choose their own career. No, that's not the intention. So when if I'm a company, if I'm signing an MOU with the college, then I will train them in an area where I want the students from, right? So I don't broaden their vision. I limit their vision to what I need. This is where this industry and the college collaboration is happening. But our mentors, what we're going to do them is they're going to broaden their vision. They're going to take them to latest industry trends. It need not be, the focus not to get them a placements, but to prepare them for the future, right? So it could be an open curriculum, depending on the strength of the mentor, and we will onboard the college on the other side, where the colleges and we'll have some experts who will assess each and every college. For example, each and every college could have a different problem. For example, a college could have a very good professors in mechanical engineering, but not so good professors in electronics and communication engineering. Right. So in that case, I have to devise a different kind of a plan for them. They may have a robotics lab, but they may not have a a VLSI design curriculum, something like that, right? So there will be an expert team in my organization, which will go assess it and then prepare a curriculum and post in the platform. And this particular need is there, which can be fulfilled by any of the mentors who are there on the platform.
I have
So
a question here.
yeah.
What is the mentor's motivation? Like, why would Sandeep go to a tier 2 college and mentor kids?
Okay. So there are a couple of reasons. One is the secondary revenue for them, right? So it may good. So they will get paid because the platform. I'm going to get money from the colleges for providing this service, and obviously I have to pay the mentors as well. Number one. Second thing is the digital recognition of the mentors. The number of followers will increase, right? They can have YouTube shorts. A lot of learning that's happening on the digital medium. So which will give them a recognition that can gain other different kind of revenue stream for the mentors. So I feel revenue generation is one. Second thing is a sense of satisfaction, giving back to the community from which I came from. Right, that sense of so I go to campuses every year because I know what I was doing when I was like them, what kind of help I needed, but I didn't get it. Right, so I get a sense of satisfaction. So my professional career becomes complete when I'm able to help students come up in their life. So that sense of purpose is fulfilled. So that is one another emotional goal that we can try to address. So these are the two main things that could motivate a mentor to join this platform.
And now imagine you and I are part of this platform. We have to now go build a curriculum as well. Aren't we asking too much from our mentors?
The So that's a good question. Because the time that the mentor can spend is limited on this platform, but the curriculum is not going to be, very personalized for each and every college. So if I am an expert in product management, right, then I will have say certain set of curriculum which I'm going to use. Correct. The only thing I have to do is I have to keep updating the curriculum with certain set of use cases, new set of problem statements and everything, which will keep them updated in the industry. So the curriculum, the structure remains the same. The content keeps changing. So in that case, I think it won't be a big effort for the mentors because it's going to be one time, or I would say the curriculum will not change much. Maybe once in 2 years or once in 3 years. That's why they're going to update it, but it's not going to happen, that often.
Why can't these colleges just go to Udemy or Pluralsight or any of these MOOC learning platforms?
There are that's a thing. That's a good question. Second, one thing I want to address there is in Udemy or any online learning platform like Unacademy or Byju's and so on and so forth, right? The training sessions are discrete in nature. Second, it is one size fit all kind of a training program. If I want to study about, say, Spring Boot, there is one particular curriculum that explains everything. I may not need everything, or I may need more than that. So I won't understand. Only after I go through Udemy Spring Boot course, then I would realize, okay, no, I have to study about Spring. Only then I can study Spring Boot. Then I'll go back and read something else. So it's a one size fit all kind of training module, which doesn't help in understanding what are the strengths and weaknesses, where are the gaps, and how to customize that particular video to address the gap.
But I thought you just said that we will just create one curriculum for all the colleges. And now, let's say if I'm teaching HTML, or maybe not HTML because the professor will teach. Maybe I'm just teaching what are the languages that you need to learn in order to get hired. Like what is it that's happening in the industry? Maybe in the data science world, I talk about, hey, these are the algorithms that you need to really look after, and maybe you go contribute to GitHub repo, etc. Now, all those things are kind of one size fits all, right? Like, would you prepare something different for a different college or a different cohort? I don't know.
Okay. So assume that I want to become a UI developer,
Mm-hmm.
right? The latest technology is say React.js or Svelte.js, and I want to learn React.js.
Mm-hmm.
So now I am a student. I go to Udemy. I start reading about React.js, but my fundamentals in HTML, CSS, JS are very weak. That I don't know. Only after I go through a React.js material, I struggle to understand what's happening because I don't know that. Correct. Now, we as a platform, I understand his aspirations to become a UI developer. Then I understand where his gaps are. Now I'll structure a curriculum which says, okay, you have to go through HTML and CSS JS training first, and then an Angular training, and then a React training. I'll be bringing 3 mentors from the industry who's an expert in HTML CSS, because for him that curriculum is same. For a mentor, it's a HTML CSS JS curriculum. And then I bring another mentor who's a React JS expert. I'll bundle them together, and I'm going to give a UI development course for the UI for the student.
So
From the
help me
mentor
understand.
standpoint,
I'm a student. Okay, walk through your journey, my journey on the platform. What happens? I log in, and then let's say
okay.
I'm registered. I've logged in. Then what happens?
Okay. So now I have to conduct an assessment for you to understand where your strengths and weaknesses, right? What kind of what in which stream you are. You may decide to go on a cross stream as well. You can be an electronics engineer, but you want to get into one computer science engineering as well. So depending on your preferences, I'll customize the assessment to understand where are the gaps, right? And we will do different kind of an aptitude assessment and your technical assessment, your psychographic assessment, and all those stuff. And then we understand what are the gaps. Now the curriculum has to be customized. So assume that, okay, you aspire to become an UI engineer, but you don't have a HTML, CSS, JavaScript skills, and you don't have Angular skills. Now you cannot learn React.js directly. You have to learn all these things. So I'm going to bring 3 mentors from the industry who is going to help you in training.
No,
Now
wait,
this
just a second. We'll come to the mentor's
partly.
um,
Okay.
journey as well.
Okay.
So you figure out that I want to learn React.js, but I don't know HTML. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So now you have that data by virtue of an assessment. Great. Now let's switch. Let's talk about your platform's interaction with the industry, where you're bringing in speakers, mentors, etc. Let's talk through that. How does that happen?
Okay. So now the other side of platform where I have to onboard the mentors onto the platform, and the key selling point would be the revenue model and all those stuff that we discussed. Assume that Sandeep is getting onboarded into this platform, and Mani is also getting onboarded into this platform by myself. Now because I am an expert, so I know what in what area I can train people. So I will tell them, okay, this is what my expertise is, and this is a course curriculum that I am going to provide for different level of students. For example, if your assessment says that, okay, he is the basics in React, but he doesn't have a very strong skills in React, then my curriculum will be little different. My use cases, my projects could be different. My approach of teaching could be different, maybe more practical oriented than theoretical oriented. So I will, in React.js, I will prepare certain different sets of curriculum, and then I will provide it to the platform, which can be through videos, or it can be through live sessions, depending on what the students are signing up for.
But I'm not understanding it. Like, I don't know HTML, but I want to do React.js. Maybe there's another guy who does not know HTML, knows JavaScript. There's a third guy who does not know both, and there's a fourth guy who knows everything but does not know React.js. How are you customizing? I'm not understanding that.
Okay, so assume so you are HTML expert, then you will be providing curriculum for HTML. I am a React.js expert. I will be providing curriculum for React.js, right? Now I am the platform is going to understand based on the assessment what kind of curriculum that I have to choose and put together a package. I will choose a HTML course from Sandeep, a CSS course from say Neha, and React.js course from Ram, bundle it together and provide it as a customized solution for the student, because this is the combo that he has to learn. So this intelligence is on me, because Sandeep cannot customize it for each and every student. There will be certain classifications, and what he needs is a combo of multiple courses together. So I have to give the best in each and everything.
Okay.
HTML course, Sandeep's course is the best one, because that has that curriculum that suits your need. CSS is from Neha, React is from Ram. And this is the bundle that I'm offering. Just take this bundled course.
Okay, I took the course, and then?
Okay, so you take the course. Now, as part of the platform, so now these courses is so one way where we are doing different than Udemy is that customized bundling of courses which they can take. Now how are you going to prepare them for the future? Now these are their theoretical things, right? So now we need a platform where they can take hands-on experience, where they can take real-time examples to understand whether they're preparing well or not. So that is where platforms like HackerEarth or HackerRank, which provide a lot of coding competitions and everything. So that comes into the picture. So now, based on what he's preparing, we can customize or we can provide those tests in that coding platform itself to ensure that he's preparing well towards the future, right? So this will also be a recommendation from the mentors themselves. So they will know, okay, if someone is taking this particular React course, then they should be able to solve this particular problems. They should be able to design an e-commerce site using React. Then they should be use Redux on it. How they're giving component-based structure. So all those things will be there. So which will be built into the platform. So not just video learning content. It's also a practicing platform where they can tune their skills. Where if we can take a example of kind of a chess platforms. So you actually fine tune your skills by playing a lot of chess games in the online. There will be computer against it where you will play, and it will keep teaching you on how to do it further. So that will be a supervised learning, I would say, which I'm going to provide in the platform.
How will you assess the how will you customize my test based on what?
Based on the curriculum that you have given to you.
Oh, so you're saying that since I read HTML, therefore I'll get an HTML test. Because I did CSS, then I'll get a CSS test.
Yes, and it happens in a staged manner. So first there will be an assessment with HTML, CSS separately, and then final would be how I'm going to build a website choosing the best component that I need. Right. So you'll give problems. Okay, build a e-commerce platform. Right. So based on the knowledge that you have, it's more of an application of the knowledge to develop the skill.
We have customized learning. We had customized test. Okay, I give the test. Then what?
So I give the test. Now in the test we have to identify where are the gaps which he has to fulfill. Right. So so that happens in an in an automated way. We'll identify those gaps, identify where he has to go back, and whether his basic understanding of the particular concept is not good, or whether his understanding is correct, but if he's not using it the right way. Application of the knowledge is the problem. Knowledge or the application of knowledge is the problem. So we identify those parameters and help him tune his knowledge by giving more practical exercises and everything. And if it's required, we'll bring experts who can take certain sessions. So for that we can, because there will be a lot of folks like this, right? So we'll bring them together in one particular classroom session, live session, and we can ask the mentor to take certain things.
So now you're introducing a mentorship. Basically, you're saying attend your curriculum, attend my curriculum. Based on my curriculum, I will customize the test. Based on the test, we'll identify gaps. Based on the gaps, we'll give you mentorship.
Yes.
And then, like, carry on. Mentorship happened then?
So mentorships happen. Now assume that they are ready to take new opportunities. Now we have to bring the opportunities to them. Now we have to tell them, we have to sponsor them to the outside world. How are we going to tell Microsoft that, okay, look at this guy in tier 2 who has the talent that you're looking for? Correct. For that, I have to partner with those kind of companies as well. Right. So it's not just about it's not about preparing them for the opportunity, also making them meet the opportunity also. Right. Now all this is happening in different areas. Udemy could be preparing them, but it is not actually taking them to the opportunity. Right. AMCAT is an example. AMCAT conducts exam and it brings opportunity, but it doesn't prepare them for the opportunity. Right. So this is one unified platform where it happens everything together. So now we're going to sponsor them, create visibility of their talent to those companies or wherever they want to get a dream job. Now we will bring those people also into the platform, because why they will come here is because of the kind of mentor that we have. If I take an example of Microsoft, right? So Microsoft will prefer to come and take students if they're trained and prepared and mentored by Microsoft employees or Google employees or Amazon employees. So my selling point to companies like those are, look, your own, these top class experts in these companies are actually the mentors of these students, and they have acknowledged that, okay, they are ready using our platform. Why don't you try and then take these candidates? So that's how I'm going to bring opportunities onto the platform for those tier 2 students as well.
Got it. So I understood it. I understood your phases. Do you see any big challenges in this entire product?
The big challenge in building the entire product is that incentivizing both the three major users of the platform until reach the critical mass. The mentors will get onboarded only if students are there. The students will get onboarded only if the mentors are there, and companies will get onboarded only both of them are there. Now it is not a two-side problem; it's a three-side problem. So I have to target all these three together.
Don't forget the institutes. They were the ones who were paying you. So
four institutes, right? So now it's not like Uber. It's just a two-side of a problem, but it's not. It's just a four-side problem right now, and it's going to be a huge, humongous task to ensure that we're building the critical mass in all those areas to make this platform successful.
How will you solve this problem?
By incentivizing. For example, if I have to onboard more mentors, if revenue is their main motive in joining this platform, even before students are onboarding, then I have to incentivize them for preparing a content, right? So that itself will make them motivated to provide content. So they don't have to be buyers, but they should get incentivized. Then I have to invest a lot there. So assume Sandeep is going to get money only if, say, 10 students are buying this course. Even before I onboard 10 students, I have to pay Sandeep some money so that his revenue is not, it's keep flowing in, irrespective of whether I'm building the students community.
But revenue won't flow in, right? There'll be zero revenue. When I'm building content,
I have to invest. So that's
what you're saying, that you have to invest. Oh, you're saying you will pay the content
providers. Content providers.
Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. So that they are incentivized. Okay.
Incentivized to provide the content. Now, once the content is available from these experts, now it is easier it will be less difficult for me to onboard the colleges. So I'll tell them, okay, you see, Sandeep is here, Neha is here, and X is here, Y is here from Microsoft or Amazon, Google, and they are the one who are actually taking the course. Come and join. I will incentivize institution as well. If you're onboarding 100 students, group offers and everything. Now I onboard them. Now once I onboarded these two people, then companies are there. Now the main revenue comes from the companies and also the institutions.
Can you help me design the technical architecture for this?
Sure. Can I step away to just take a pencil? Thank you. Sandeep, do you want to focus on any particular workflow on this?
No. Let's look at this workflow. It's a simplified workflow. Let's look at it.
Okay.
You can, yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay, so in this product, we have spoken about different workflows. For example, now content discovery for the student is one. Content recommendation is one based on the assessment. And user engagement is another one. How are they going to engage with the training videos, with the platform and everything. And fourth is the coding platform, which are going to help in tuning it. And so I will focus on assuming that the user profile, everything is set up. So I'm just making that assumption. You want me to build that as well, Sandhya?
Your call.
Okay. I'm assuming that this particular platform is available right now in mobile app.
Sure.
I'll first target what are the data we're going to capture from the institutions and the users, students segment. So I'm going to have an institution database which will capture the institution related information. And then the students who are actually enrolling as part of this program, and the students profile information. Profile information is about their demography, the assessment that I have and their scores, and my analysis, the platform analysis on their strengths and weaknesses and all those stuff. And second set of things are the mentors. So if you talk about the mentors, now we have to store the mentors details, mentors profile, mentors image for picture, their bio, their key strength areas, what are all the subjects or courses that they're going to offer, and what that of course is going to have. It can be a video, or it can be a plain blog kind of text. It can be short videos combined together. It can be 3D videos, right? So I have to have course content being stored. So here I'm going to have a mentor DB, their profile information, what are kind of courses they're going to take, and the course materials. So these are the four things that I'm going to have as part of the mentors.
So is your mentor profile and student profile database the same or different?
I'm going to keep it as two different databases.
And why?
Because my load on the students database is going to be pretty high. The mentors can be say 100 mentors, but they can actually provide contents to 10,000 students, 20,000 students. So my hit on the when those many students are going to concurrently access my product, so then my load on the students database and the content going to be high.
Would
In
you
that,
like to break it down by databases or tables? And how will you make that decision? Like, do you want to split it by tables or databases?
oh, okay, makes sense. So I think I should go with tables, not databases.
Okay. And why did you make that call?
It will be very difficult to integrate data from two different databases together. The latency will be higher because in service I have to integrate with two different databases. My connection requests have to be two fully integrated together will be difficult. So that's why we go with one database but different tables. The contents alone will be in a CDN kind of a database, cache database, so that the delivery is easier.
What is
Course
CDN?
material, content delivery network, where
Why would you put the content in CDN?
the videos and for better accessibility, so that it is retrieved faster. So the content is delivered quicker because my students can be in any location within India. Assume that I have
CDN. See, CDN, you'll be charging a lot of money. You'll be paying a lot of money for CDN for better accessibility. How will you choose which content should be put in CDN?
the content that are most frequently used, so that it is rendered in a faster manner. For example, I have a course that is on a metallurgical department, for example, metallurgy, right? Which many campuses have this particular say course. In that case, the frequency in which I'm going to access the contents is pretty lesser, but React is something that is going to be used pretty quite often. So in that case, I will have React course materials, which is quite oftenly used in the CDN, so that it is retrieved faster.
Do you see any issues by just going by frequently used content and putting that in CDN?
Issues in using frequently used. I have to have a strategy to remove the content from the CDN when it is not frequently used. I'm going to upload it in CDN once it is frequently used, right? But at one point of time, if the content is not being used, it still remains in CDN. Then I have to offload it from the CDN as well.
And do you see any concerns around the user's experience?
When it is there in CDN, when it is not there in CDN.
When it is there in CDN?
User experience when it is there in CDN.
Okay, let's move on.
I couldn't understand. I mean, I couldn't I couldn't understand the challenges.
That's okay. That's okay. Let's move on. Okay, so I understood that you have profile DB and then you have content storage, some storage. Some of the content is in CDN. There will be some content that is not in CDN, and you have a service which cleans up the CDN. Okay. Anything else?
And then I have the companies table where the companies are registered.
Okay.
And then I have the assessment table. What kind of assessments are applicable for what kind of courses?
Let's move above tables. So sure, we'll have all these tables.
Okay, fine. So
Let's do
we
the
talk
block
about
diagram for architecture and we'll come, yeah. This is all storage information. What else?
then we'll talk about the services. Now let's talk about user as a student, right? So now student has already, we already have the data about the students gaps. Now we already have the different course methods already there. Now we have to create a service that identifies the skill gap and the content material, provide the recommendation to the student. So we have to build the content recommendation engine, right? So when a student enters the mobile app, right, in the home page, you should be able to see the recommended courses for him. And now, so that will hit a API, or say get recommended courses API, which will first query the students table to understand the profile information, the gaps and everything. And then it will query, then I have another service that takes this input and queries the course materials, right? And then I have now I have an intelligence where identifying these two things, I will match it together and prepare a course material, course curriculum for them. And this core curriculum will be stored in a table for this particular student, for this particular skill gap. This is the course, and the skill gap could be n number of things, and each and every skill gap there could be one or two courses, right? So recommended course table will have the student, everything will be there. So this is a service that I'm building, which will prepare the recommended courses. And next time when the student logs in, it will take the recommended course from this particular table and will put it onto the screen. Okay, so now your course is on React.js. This is the course 1, 2, 3, and 4 that you have to go through, and this is the materials for you. And we prepare a timetable. We can prepare structure on when you have to take the sessions. We can block it in time. So okay, I'm going to view this video between 5 to 7 p.m. Or whenever that you want. You can have a flexible timing. I will have some notifications on when the particular content is uploaded and everything. So now this will just retrieve the course materials for him.
So in this entire flow, which use case is performance intolerant, which means, did I say it right? Yeah, performance intolerant, which means that you cannot compromise on performance on some of these use cases. What would that be?
Okay. Performance. So I see two use cases where it could be performance intolerant. Number one is preparing the recommended courses. Because when I approach an institution and they say, okay, these are 1,000 students for whom you have to prepare the course, right? So I have to run those, prepare the course content for those 1,000 students. Each could be in a different skill gap. So in that case, I have to build a nightly batch job that runs and collects all this information, puts it together, and that has to run pretty faster as well. Even though it's a nightly batch job, it's not going to create any issues on the user side, but at the same time, it should not be running for hours and hours. Right? So that is one, because this course is prepared in the nightly batch job. And second thing is user experience in rendering the videos. Right. So, and here in rendering the videos, I have to understand, because these students are from tier 2 and tier 3 areas. Their bandwidth could be pretty less. Their mobile phone need not be a very high-end mobile phone, right? So in that case, the course material that I have should be able to cater to those different constraints that they have.
I have a quick question. If preparing recommended courses, you are saying it's a nightly batch job. In that case, imagine I've just taken the assessment. I clicked submit, and then what will I see? Like, return here later tomorrow to see the recommended courses.
Because, okay, so we will identify that, okay, these are the areas that you have to, where you have to address the problem. It will give you an assessment, okay, these are the areas where we have issues, right? Now we'll tell them, okay, we are customizing a learning solution for you. We'll get back to you within, say, few hours.
We lost the user. The churn rate would be so high exactly after assessment.
So in that, okay, because he immediately wants to see what is the recommended action item for him.
5 minutes to wow. We need to wow the user in 5 minutes. Assessment would have taken 2 minutes, and after that we say, oh, 24 hours to wow.
Yeah, I understand. The excitement will be gone, right? Because he's eagerly waiting for that course content only. Okay, that's true.
Yep.
So in that case, the course content preparation should also happen within the moment when he submits. This is your score, this is your letting me, this is your timetable, this is the progress that you have to make, and by this date you should be completing everything, so that he has a clear view of where he has to land within that second. So in that case, this has to happen real time, and this becomes it could become performance bottleneck because the assessment will be taken by thousands of students at the same time.
How do you solve this?
Okay. Now I can the load happens in two places. One, the load is on the service, and other one, the load is on the database. When the load is on the database, the moment I identify the area where he has to improve, right? In that case, I can partition the table based on the courses. So if it is React, then I have to just target the React tables alone, right, to get the content. If it is SQL and database or analytics, I can just target that. So partition the database. So database sharding will help in reducing the load on the database because I'm partitioning it.
Got it.
And the service side, load balancing will help in the server side.
So I know we are almost at the top of the hour. I want to give it back to you. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions. When you actually, in a meeting room where you're discussing about a solution for the problem with a different set of people from a different perspectives, right? So product manager will be focusing on the features, the technical guy will be focusing on the technical architecture, right? There will be certain areas where they have to make compromises here and there. Is it necessary to arrive at a consensus all the time? How do you try to arrive at a consensus all the time? There will be areas where we have to cut corners to ensure that no, we are launching the product on time, but at the same time technical architecture compromise cannot happen. So how will you take the decision? I mean, how will you make your own arrive at a consensus in a real discussion, brainstorming discussion?
So first, let me give you a very short answer. Arriving at a consensus may not be necessary. There are so many conversations where the colloquial we agree to disagree and we move forward. That happens a lot. The reason that happens a lot is because we are operating on hypothesis. We are operating on certain assumptions. Now, I may have an assumption for certain thing for which you may disagree and you may say this is not the right assumption. One way to go about it is let's go do some research and validate some assumptions and hypothesis. One way to do is let's ship something quickly as an experiment. Let's fail fast. Let's put metrics to ensure that whatever our hypothesis is gets validated or invalidated. Therefore, we are able to either persevere on our idea or pivot it and repivot and move to something else. So it happens a lot when we the classic tussle between the hey, let's do the right thing from a technical architecture perspective, therefore it will take time, but I don't know whether we should take this much time. What if this is not going to help the users? Versus I don't know whether this design will help the users because I have certain hypothesis while the architecture is heading in a different direction. For example, this particular recommendation problem, I can very well solve using rules or I can solve using AI/ML. What should we do? Right? So, and now let's keep debating. Or let's just ship something quickly. What better, right? What if people are really digging into our solution the way we've shipped it, even though it's experimental? Then we at least know from the data, and that's what the beauty about product development is, right? That you can ship something quickly, you can get an attestation to the value within a few days. especially with software product management. Now, you can't do this while maybe building, I don't know, bathtubs. You can't do incremental feature updates. So that's what we do. So a lot of times in our meeting rooms, we disagree, but then we agree on the way forward.
Okay.
So that happens a lot. Good question, by the way. Any other questions?
No, I'm good, Sandeep. Thank you so much for that.
All right, fantastic. Quick question for you. How do you think the interview went?
It was okay until I summarized the problems, but in somewhere the solution, I think I lose. Um, I was not making a compelling solution to the problem that I stated.
All right, I understand.
I should have taken some time to think through the solutions to address those problems that I've stated. As I think I got stuck in that platform, and I was trying to improve on the platform again and again to cater to all the needs. So I think
Got it.
that's where I
Got it.
think I could have done it better.
Got it. So let me clarify. I would have given you a higher. Okay.
Okay.
But let me tell you what went well, what could have gone better. Okay. So let's begin. So 4 things I have written, 5 things actually. Great structure. Some of your questions were creative. Keep your pencil and paper ready. You had some clarity on thoughts on good problem articulation with wise. Some solution creativity was needed. Technical architecture, I have some feedback, which I'll talk about in detail. Okay, so this is the Uber feedback. Let's deep dive. You had some very good scoping calls to select the ear of the student, exactly whom you are targeting. I love it when you go broad and then when you go deep. You were going broad on engineering, you picked up engineering, you could have picked so many other streams. And after you picked up engineering, you said year 3, year 4. Your goal to maximize revenue and people having actually found their dream jobs, I agree with it. Your user journey was great. I loved the aspects that you brought about in the user journey. Like loved, I wrote it, loved it. Very creative user journey and problem articulation, especially certain things where I was hoping that you will take these as pivots and try to build a solution on top. For example, self-introspection. My goodness, I never thought of it. That's self-awareness. What am I good at? Right? Now, that self-introspection transformed into an assessment test of what are my capabilities with respect to something. But we did never picked up. What if I shouldn't be a UX designer at all? Maybe I should be something else, right? I love that aspect and I was hoping we'll go somewhere there. So I loved it. I loved some of the things that you said. The connection with the alumni, mentors, experts, peer influence. Like I was hoping that we will do something around that where we said cohorts are competitive, peer groups, they influence a lot. Then he said if you influence year 4, then you can influence year 3, etc. We could have gone in that direction, but let's park it. But I loved your user journey. Just absolutely brilliant. Uh, as soon as you went to solutions, right? I felt you scoped yourself too thin. You said, I'm just going to keep my professors up to date and I'm going to bring in role models. No problems with that. But with that, what happened was, I think so we just kept going narrower. I don't know, maybe I didn't write. Maybe you should watch it in the video. Did you take a break here while articulating the solutions? If you took a
No,
break, you didn't, is it?
didn't.
Maybe that was the reason because I've not written. Generally, I write break. So I was wondering whether you took a break. Maybe that break would have helped. Because I realized one thing. Every time you took a break, I have no idea what you jot down in your paper. But when you jot down something, right, creative juices are just flowing through. I think so. I realized this in our previous interview as well. And I'm realizing this in this interview as well. When you think you take a break, take a 1 minute break, and you start articulating certain things, absolute brilliance comes out. I love that about you. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the platform. By the way, keeping the professor up to date and bringing the role models is not a bad problem to start with. So at that stage, I said, okay, good scoping call for the solution. Maybe we can explore more. But let's talk about the platform. Bridging the gap for a professor is different from students. Actually, somehow I felt of all these problems, bridging the gap for the professor was the least um, priority for me. And it's just my mindset. There is no way that I can quantify. Some of the other problems that you said, right? Like if I say I have to educate a professor, my platform will be totally different. I do not expect my professor to take that initial assessment test of whether he's good at React and HTML and all. Like professor का journey बिल्कुल different हो जाएगा. And then I was like, why are you taking professor problem to begin with? Like I had that thought, but I could have countered you here. I should have asked you on what basis are you making this call? Why have you picked these two? I didn't do that. Maybe that would have clarified, and maybe you may have rejuggled. So this is a feedback for interviewers as well, because at that time, I was just going with your flow. But now when I'm reflecting, I'm like, why did you take professor at all? Then you talked about bringing in role models, and I think so that's where you actually held on to. And then you also talked about some of the self-assessment work. Professor, I don't think so. We even discussed it.
We didn't discuss about it. Yeah.
So you talked about job placements, advertisements, mentors, college, through industry collaboration. One thing I didn't understand is how are those industries limiting the vision to what a guy needs? And I think so maybe what you were referring to is that today most of the industry experts come and only try to tell you what you should do to get hired in their company.
Yes.
Interestingly, if we get mentors, etc., maybe that same problem will happen. Again, I never pinned you that hard on that, but I don't know, like because in the solution, I don't know how will we solve it. Like in a one-on-one mentorship session, I don't know what these guys are talking. And our curriculum is also very generic. It's like an education platform. So I don't think so we solved that problem either. Maybe it was just a thought, nothing that I was very like I didn't want to pin any holes here. What is the mentor's motivation? Great answer, actually. I loved it. I was thinking through it that why would a mentor even come to your platform? Have you thought through it? And this is one good thing about you. Every time you say something, right, you have a great why. And I wrote it on the top. I didn't say it. For everything that you say, you will back it up with great arguments. And I love that about my conversation with you. Every time I've asked you, why would you do this? You'll come up with a great idea and you'll just shut me up. And I love it. Like every time you do that, huh? And even in your previous interview, you did that. And I still remember that. Anyways, so design a curriculum, we are asking too much from a mentor, and then you articulated that you will solve it using business and not product, and that's okay. Udemy and Pluralsight, here I wrote that Udemy and Pluralsight will take 1 month to do what we are trying to do. They have the training material, they can stitch it together. One assessment, they can do it in a month. So that this is where I wrote that the solution felt obvious, but could we have done something better? Because your problems that you articulated, right, were ones that I don't think so any of these platforms are solving. But we ended up building a solution which looked like a Udemy plus, which Udemy can like break our necks in a month.
I think we didn't choose the right problem to solve because the unique problems that we touched upon, we didn't build solutions for that. We went and solved the common problems that are existing, which could be solved.
So that's why I wrote solution problem creativity. I gave you plus, and solution creativity. I wrote we created a Udemy plus. This is what I wrote. Acha. Okay, we talked about customized learning, mentorship. Okay, here, right, I was just trying to get to what the product is. I was just trying to figure out your complete journey. And I think so that journey made a lot of sense to me. Technical architecture. See, when we're talking about technical architecture, right, I think so we discussed that earlier as well. Take one persona. Just take one persona and articulate that persona's end-to-end journey.
Okay.
I was actually trying to catch up with you on the technical architecture because we were like, okay, there is a student, and there is a mentor, and then there is an institute, and then there is a table for this. Then I felt, okay, you're doing a DB design right now. So I was like, हो गया, table हो गया, आगे बढ़ो. But these are all entities, there are facts, there are dimensions, we'll figure it out. आगे बढ़ो. Because I wanted to move from you on the architecture, how the architecture will pan out, right? there was some goof up with the tables versus database concepts. Again, I asked you why you had an impeccable answer. You went back very strong. CDN. If you know CDN very well, talk about it. If you don't know, you can allow to take generic terms. You can say, I need a high performance storage versus a low performance storage. Perfectly all right. Nobody is expecting you to know any, though CDN is not a very difficult term and a lot of people use it, of course. But uh, on this aspect, right, where you were talking about frequently accessed content on CDN, I think so. This is one place where I said that, oh, maybe you need to think a little harder. My recommendation to the next interviewer would have been go deep on tech. Okay, because I know that this is maybe some place where I need to see something better. Because, for example, I felt that like problem design, problem definition, creativity of problems, articulation, understanding the problem was great. And here is the funny part. If you have problem articulation done well, solution articulation happens. Problem articulation is tough. You ace that. Solution articulation could have been better, but I also know as an interviewer, had I just said once, right, that, oh, what about introspection? You would have come up with a great answer. So absolutely nothing lost there. Like even as an interviewer, I'm telling you that I would have said, yeah, this guy will crack it. I know, because I'm seeing that again and again in our conversation that you go deep, you go broad, you answer the whys very well. So completely discounted that. On tech, right, I felt that there was something else that was required, because we went from content storage to CDN to content that is most frequently used. There are actually a lot of issues if you just pivot on content that is most frequently used. There are so many other, and maybe I actually pushed you on that. There are so many other reasons. What I recommend you to do is check the Netflix tech architecture model. Okay. Why is your streaming of videos not like, why is it not buffering for you for videos that you watch? Right? It could be frequently, it could be recommended content. Like you would see that there could be that, oh, since you are in whatever Bangalore, maybe there are some Kannada shows that are put closer to you, and the concept is, I wouldn't say that, of course, it's all based on proximity. Like how do you solve the problem of proximity, right? So CDN is also solving the problem of proximity. Streaming is also solving the problem of proximity. See that equivalent. There are other pivots based on which you would add it. So again, what I would strongly suggest is you are completely fine to not take tech terms. You may not say, I want to set up a data warehouse. Because as soon as you said it, now I'm inquisitive. How much do you know about data warehouse? I will set up a data lake. Okay, now let's talk about data lakes. You have no idea if the guy on the other side is the one who has designed data lakes for the organization. So you don't know. Like then he'll be testing, oh, are you just throwing jargons at me or you really know what you know? So, and I'm not saying don't use it. I'm just saying if you use it, then exactly know what you're using it. Okay. Acha, on the content recommendation engine, I loved your content recommendation engine. That made a lot of sense. You are the content recommendation courses API. Yeah? I loved it. The way you interplayed how you're fetching profile information to querying the course content, building some intelligence and recommending a course and storing that recommendation in a table, etc., etc. That is what I was expecting in the entire architecture. Okay. I wish we would have gotten here quickly. And you can be as abstract as, okay, user logged in profile. Once the profile is created, okay, there's some assessment happening. There are some predefined assessment tests that are in storage. Once you select what you want, I show you your assessments. Your grading is done, goes back to your profile information. Once that is done, now I look at my course content and I start showing you based on that, like the get recommendation API. So we could have done it a lot quicker. But I think so we were stuck on, oh, there is a profile DB and then there is a organization DB, etc. So, and that's where I hurried you up. Ki chalo aage badho. Compromise on performance, you should understand performance. Huh? Because if you are getting into any of the organizations that serve enterprises, like even if you get going to Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, etc., perfectly we have to build performance products. So see what are the core pivots of performance. For example, the aspect where we were discussing around preparing recommended courses, the solution may not be sharding or partitioning the tables correctly. So one recommendation I have for you, see how AI/ML recommendation services work.
Okay.
See their architecture. Okay, I am no expert, but there are certain things which are like, there is something you should read about matrix factorization. It's an algorithm which allows you to run the recommendation upfront for both cold users and warm users, and then store those recommendations, and then it's a hot problem. For example, your recommendations will be done on the spot.
Okay.
More often than not, these models are trained and put on a hot storage so that you can quickly parse that content. You don't need to change your DB structure for recommendations to show.
Okay.
Okay. So since you were using the term recommendation, which is, by the way, like terms such as recommendation, search, they are so common that almost all products need it. So might as well do that homework on how recommendation engines work. And think of it from a user's perspective that, oh, you now got my recommendation, Netflix, how do they know that I want to watch that movie? Solve from that perspective and you'll get it. And there is enough literature on recommendation engine. So that was another thing that I would like you to do. I loved your question for me. I loved it. It was just good, huh? But be very wary of this. Since you asked me this question, right? I would have made a note for the next interview saying, ask him about his own conflicts. How do you manage your own conflicts? Because this question is generic enough to happen in everybody's life.
Yes.
You know? But the fact that you asked me this question, it made me think harder. So that's why I like the question. Okay, but in your last round, you should expect something like this. This similar question being asked to you, so you should be prepared with that.
Okay.
All in all, I have given you a higher with focus on tech, with focus on solution creativity, and that's it. Congratulations.
Thanks, Sandeep. Thanks for your guidance.
So I want to conclude this, but we will continue the talk as we always do. Thank you so much, Ron. It was so nice talking to you. I'm so glad that we talked, and all the best for your next interview.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandeep. Thanks for your guidance. And I think the kind of recommendations that you've given are very much valuable. I could clearly see where the gaps were. And so I think I just have to go back and then work on these gaps so that, I'm well prepared.
All the best.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for your mentoring and guidance.